Did you know that one of the most infamous monarchs in history, Henry VIII, had 6 wives in his quest for a male heir? If you would like to learn more about Henry VIII and the other grand history of England, remember to like and subscribe. This larger-than-life figure, whose reign spanned nearly 4 decades in the 16th century, was driven by a relentless pursuit for a male successor. Henry VIII's matrimonial escapades were not merely personal affairs, but events that would shape the course of English history. Henry's reign, characterized by political and religious upheaval, was punctuated by his 6 marriages. Each wife brought her own story, her own influence, and in some cases, her own tragedy. From the devout Catherine of Aragon to the ambitious Anne Boleyn, from the gentle Jane Seymour to the vivacious Anne of Cleves, and finally, the young Catherine Howard to the mature Catherine Parr, each marriage was a chapter in the tumultuous reign of this notorious king. So, are you ready? It's time to dive into the intriguing and scandalous world of Henry VIII and his 6 wives. Henry VIII's first wife was Catherine of Aragon. Catherine of Aragon, a Spanish princess born into the powerful Catholic monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella, was no mere damsel. She was a woman of strength, intellect, and resilience. Her marriage to Henry was not her first. She was initially married to Henry's elder brother Arthur. However, Arthur's untimely demise led her down the aisle again, this time with Henry VIII, in the early 16th century. Their marriage, initially filled with love and admiration, bore them a daughter, Mary. Mary was a beacon of hope, yet the absence of a male heir gnawed at Henry. He was a king in an era where the crown's continuity was largely secured by male successes. This yearning for a son, coupled with Catherine's numerous unsuccessful pregnancies, sowed seeds of discontent in Henry's heart. As the years rolled on, Henry's affection for Catherine waned. His eyes wandered, and his heart followed. His desire for a male heir became an obsession, and his dissatisfaction with Catherine grew. The once revered queen now stood as an obstacle to his ambitions. In his pursuit of an heir, Henry challenged the very foundations of the church, igniting a religious and political controversy that would redefine England's identity. He sought an annulment from the Pope, claiming his marriage to Catherine was cursed, citing a passage from the Bible that condemned a man marrying his brother's wife. But the Pope, under the influence of Catherine's nephew, the Holy Roman Emperor, refused. Undeterred, Henry took matters into his own hands. He broke away from the Catholic Church, established the Church of England with himself at its helm, and granted himself the divorce he so desperately sought. This monumental act not only ended his marriage to Catherine, but also triggered the English Reformation, forever altering the course of history. Thus, Catherine of Aragon's fate was sealed, marking the end of the first of Henry's 6 marriages. Next in line was the charismatic and ambitious Anne Boleyn. Born into a family of considerable influence, Anne was anything but a typical noblewoman of her time. She was educated in the Netherlands and France, and her exposure to new ideas and cultures made her a captivating figure at the English court. Anne's marriage to Henry was shrouded in controversy, as Henry was still married to his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. Despite the scandal, their union resulted in the birth of one of England's most famous queens, Elizabeth I. However, Anne's time as queen was not destined to last. Accused of adultery and high treason, she was beheaded in May of 1536, a mere 3 years after her marriage to Henry. Her execution sent shockwaves through the court and beyond. Anne Boleyn's tragic fate marked the end of Henry's second marriage. Following Anne Boleyn, Henry married 4 more times. The saga of these marriages is as fascinating as it is tragic. Enter Jane Seymour, the 3rd wife of Henry, and the woman who would finally give him a male heir. Jane, unlike her predecessors, was of modest birth, hailing from a family of knights. Henry's courtship with Jane began while Anne Boleyn was still alive. Jane was known for her gentle and submissive demeanor, a stark contrast to Anne's fiery spirit. Their marriage, however brief, was reportedly a happy one. Jane bore Henry a son, Edward, fulfilling his long-standing desire for a male heir. But her life was cut short by postnatal complications leaving Henry genuinely grief-stricken. Anne of Cleves, the fourth wife, was a political match, intended to secure an alliance with Germany. She was known for her intelligence and practicality. However, the marriage was doomed from the start. Henry, who had never met Anne in person before their wedding, was reportedly disappointed by her appearance. Their marriage was annulled after just 6 months, but Anne was wise enough to agree, earning her a generous settlement and the title of the king's beloved sister. She outlived all of Henry's wives and even Henry himself. Catherine Howard, the fifth wife, was a young and vivacious woman, but her tenure as queen was marred by scandal. She was accused of infidelity, and like her cousin Anne Boleyn, was beheaded on charges of treason. Her tragic end serves as a grim reminder of the dangers that came with being a queen consort in Tudor England. Finally, Catherine Parr, the sixth and final wife, was a twice-widowed woman of considerable intellect and strong Protestant beliefs. She was known for her role in reconciling Henry with his estranged daughters, Mary and Elizabeth, ensuring their places in the line of succession. Catherine survived Henry, but her life took a tragic turn when she married Thomas Seymour, Jane's brother. She died in childbirth, a fate she had narrowly escaped as queen. These 6 women, each unique in their own right, were bound by the common thread of being married to one of history's most notorious monarchs. They navigated the treacherous waters of the Tudor court, facing a life of opulence and peril in equal measure. Their stories, as varied as they are, contribute to the complex tapestry of Henry VIII's reign. With the death of Catherine Parr, the saga of Henry's 6 wives came to an end. Their lives, marked by power, passion, and tragedy, continue to captivate us, offering a fascinating glimpse into the tumultuous world of Tudor England. The legacy of Henry VIII and his 6 wives lives on to this day. This Tudor king, known for his 6 marriages, left a mark on English history that remains indelible. His relationships with his wives not only shaped his personal life, but also the course of England's future. The marriages of Henry VIII were more than just personal affairs. They were political maneuvers, religious rebellions, and royal dramas. His first wife, Catherine of Aragon, bore him a daughter, Mary, but their marriage ended in a controversial annulment that sparked the English Reformation. Then came Anne Boleyn, whose marriage to Henry led to the birth of the future queen, Elizabeth I. Anne was a key figure in the English Reformation, but her influence also led to her downfall and execution. The subsequent wives, Jane Seymour, Anne of Cleves, Catherine Howard, and Catherine Parr, each left their mark in their own unique ways. Jane gave birth to Edward VI, while Anne of Cleves's diplomatic marriage ended in a peaceful annulment. Catherine Howard's tragic story is a reminder of the harsh realities of court life, and Catherine Parr, the final wife, outlived Henry and acted as regent during Edward's minority. Beyond the personal dramas, the legacy of Henry VIII and his wives had a profound impact on England's religious, political, and cultural landscape. The English Reformation, a direct result of Henry's quest for a male heir, changed the course of English history forever. His 3 children, Mary, Elizabeth, and Edward, each took the throne in turn, continuing the Tudor dynasty and shaping the future of England. The intriguing lives of Henry's wives, their influence during their time as queen, and the dramatic circumstances of their marriages have continued to fascinate historians and the public alike, making them enduring figures in history. Thus, the tale of Henry VIII and his 6 wives remains one of the most fascinating chapters in history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the lives of Henry VIII and his 6 wives. We've traveled back to the Tudor era, unraveling the complex tapestry of marriages, alliances, and political machinations. From Catherine of Aragon, the loyal first wife, to Catherine Parr, the survivor who outlived the infamous king, each wife has a unique story to tell. These women were not just queens, but also mothers, diplomats, and influencers in their own right. Their lives were interwoven with the dramatic history of Tudor England, shaping and being shaped by it. We invite you to delve deeper into this fascinating period of history, to explore beyond the surface and uncover the intricate details that make it so captivating. Remember, history is not just about kings and queens, but also about the people and events that shaped their reigns. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.